Hi, my name is Dylan Birdsell, and today we're just going to talk about what leadership is to me. First thing first is leadership is very vague. What I mean by this is if I go into a room and I ask 20 people what does leadership mean to them, what are the good qualities that make a great leader, you'll get 20 different answers. And so this is all based off of experience, maybe characteristics of character that people find important, how they lead specifically and what they personally value as leadership. Some people are going to argue that great leaders lead by example, and others are going to argue that great leaders lead by motivation. Overall, I don't think there's one right or wrong answer to leadership, but I think there are some things that we can point out exactly. So, two categories of leadership is what I think is leaders are either people oriented, so these are the people that are great at motivating, getting camaraderie, and building culture, environment, things like that. And then there's people that are task oriented. They're the efficient ones. They do organization. They know that there is a problem at hand and they're able to envision the solution. They're able to envision the steps that are taken in order to beat them. And then great leaders have to be authentic. So you have to understand who you are. I think leaders have to be balanced between people-oriented and task-oriented. There's pros and cons of both, but either way, your ratio of those two, you have to be authentic about it. You can't be someone who hates organization and doesn't know anything about it and walk in and just try to be the task. Try to lay down that plan. You should have those skills, but ultimately, if your best weapon, your toolkit is your ability to motivate and create an environment, then do that and delegate to other people to be the task-oriented people. So you have to understand who you are, and you have to know who you're going to reach. You got to pick and choose the people that you're like, okay, these are people that are my kind of followers. These are the ones it will be the easiest to reach. But then you have to understand how to do it, and then vice versa. You got to know, okay, my philosophy might not work for this person, but here's how I'm going to change it. This is the things that I can do to show this person that I'm the right leader for them. And then leaders have to commit to their own character. So what I mean by this is I think that there is virtues or characteristics that every single person is committed to being in general. Like every decision, every action, every thought, it should boil back to a moral question of who do I want to be? And so I wanted to write about my commitment statement because this is really important to me. These are the virtues that I think are important to myself as a leader, myself as a human being. And so we'll go through these, and these all kind of tie into leadership to one point or another. So I'm committed to being a winner. Success is a foreign language that failure is teaching me. So I love this. I'm a competitor. I love having an obstacle in front of me and problem solving and thinking, what is the best way that I can do to overcome this, to achieve my goal? And I'm not afraid of failure. I'm not afraid to have something fall back and be like, man, and like take risks. I think those are things that leaders need to have. I attack every single day with the intensity and fearlessness of a bumblebee. This is a little bit more of a silly statement, but what I mean is like if you think about like a bumblebee, it's like they have one life and like it's so fragile, it's so delicate, at times of fear, they're willing to die on their protection. And I think that's the same thing with leaders. You have to care about something so importantly that you are willing to go to the most extremes and be willing to risk it all, essentially, but know when to pull the plug if you're willing to die on that hill. That's what great leaders do. I will not let my morning sickness start the snowball effect that is my day. This is a weakness of mine. I'm a very slow starter in the morning, but by waking up, trying to be productive immediately, trying to do all the things that I know will get me off to a good start, will help me be more productive throughout the rest of my day, and ultimately will lead me to be more equipped to lead other individuals. Most of all, I'm a beloved, forgiven, unshaken believer. I'm very aware of how unfair the opportunities that I've been given, relentless at sharing the love of my Savior. So these are all things that relate back to my own religious beliefs. And I think that every leader should just have a moral compass. Every leader needs to have something where they deem right and wrong. And you can get this through religion. You can get this through different thoughts and mentors and other things in the universe. But for me, it is my religion, and I fall back on my Christianity, my love for Jesus Christ. I understand that the focus of life is not about being the best in the world, but being the best I can possibly be. So what I mean by this is I'm going to max my potential. I'm going to try my hardest. I'm going to do all the right things for a skill, for a job, whatever opportunity it is. I understand that it might not be my calling to be the best person in the world at that, or to reach a specific level that I had hoped for. But as long as I know that I do everything, I build patterns, I build habits to reach success, and ultimately those will wind up translating to other aspects of life. I personally believe that I was put on this earth to have a positive impact with every person I'm blessed to have an encounter with, whether that be with a wave, smile, laughter, and whatever it may be. I want to walk away from someone knowing the coinciding joy it is that we now share. I've separated from happiness from circumstances, and in doing so, I have created a shortcut in life. I love this. I'm a very natural, positive human being, and by trying to spread and be a light into every person, it forces me to click a mental switch and be like, all right, let's be on, let's be on. I'm consistent with my energy links. I'm consistent with my interactions with people, because I think that's what great leaders do, is they're consistent with those things. And you have to be like that in all aspects, in my opinion. So if it's someone checking me out at the grocery store, if it's my boss, if it's my family, friends, whatever. I want to do something that spreads positivity in their life. And I can't allow life's things that it throws at me, which is the circumstances, and I can't let it deviate from my happiness, because then my energy fluctuates. I will be a pioneer for all the lost and hungry in the world, knowing that I do not have the answers to the questions I have yet to been asked. I will further my education from daily reading and writing, and I will lead those around me my concise and productive communication. This is all the educational aspect of leadership to me, is I want to be the best in my field, and that means I have to be a lifelong learner. That means I have to never be content with the information. That means I can never think that I know it all, because if I stop learning, things will pass me by. And that is my fault as a leader who is trying to, maximize athletes, maximize people for their health goals as much as possible. And so I have to continue to dig deep into the science and ultimately produce some work of my own. I've been given the guide for dummies on how to live, and will forever do my duty in serving those around me, ahead of me, and those whose path will not reach mine. What I mean by this is, no matter the situation, like I said, I got to stay consistent, and I got to find ways to add value. If I'm the boss, then I have to find ways to lead those underneath me. If I'm the bottom of the totem pole at a company, then I have to find ways to help my mentors, help the people in charge. How can I add value? And then I have to add value to my coworkers. How can we push each other? How can I challenge them? How can I accept their criticism of mine, just as I hope that they accept my critiques as them as well? All in a healthy environment. I have to be able to lead everyone around me, no matter the situation I'm in. And the last thing is, the landscape of my life is an ever-evolving process that is my character, my wit, and my personality. I am joy. Life's going to change. Everything about me is going to change. But ultimately, during this, I want to always come back to these core principles. Experiences are going to shape things, but I want to end off with just be joyful. Just be joyful, be consistent, because ultimately that's where I find my happiness in life.